Hi, and welcome to the Everyday People podcast. If you don't know what a podcast is, listen to it while you're doing something else. Today, I have a conversation for you. This is a conversation I had with my friend Paritosh a while back. We decided to talk about college, our lives, how they've changed, friendships, relationships, just catching up and talking about communication in general. So, sit back, listen in, enjoy.
And we're recording. So hi Paritosh, what's up?
Hey Vaibhav, I'm great. How are you doing?
Hmm? It's going good, man. It's been a day.
Yeah, it almost has been a day. It's 47 minutes away and it will be officially a day. Check mark. What's up? What's happening? Why are you obsolete?
uh, Nothing. I had like a full day where I spoke to someone else in the morning. I did a talkback interview with somebody. He is an
Nice.
entrepreneur who helps students with GMAT and GRE preparations. So I got a
Nice.
recommendation from a friend and I spoke to him. It was my first audio interview actually, and it went really well. It was like a 35-minute conversation.
That's nice.
Yeah, and we just spoke about education in India and entrepreneurship as a fad. If he has any advice for entrepreneurs, so that was pretty nice. Like I did that, and then I was out with friends the entire day, like catching up with college friends for the first time in 4 years. So that was like
That is
that.
amazing.
Yeah. What about you, man?
After 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Wow, how did that feel?
It felt really good. I mean, these are some of the people I haven't met in that long, and we were like eight of us, not the entire class, but it it was very comfortable, and I have never really felt. I've forgotten that feeling of being at ease, like with my classmates. I forgot that I had that in college a certain bit, but
Wow,
like,
that was so good.
so like just uh, it was something special. Like we had lunch and then
Absolutely.
we went to college, and
Nice. Is there anyone in your... Sorry, go on.
yeah, no, so we went to college and we were like reliving memories and talking about how stuff had
Nice.
changed, how stuff had stayed the same, all that stuff. You were asking me something.
Nice. I was if there is anyone who suddenly got very thin, suddenly put on a lot of weight, suddenly changed their hairstyle. Was there
Every
anyone?
hairstyle is mine. My hair is purple now versus black then.
Yeah, it was black earlier. Now it's purple, right? So that was a major change.
Yeah. No, but everybody's gotten a little bit fatter, and I felt good because
Yeah.
I'm in good company.
It's the era of dad bods. So I think we are looking for a dad bod without being that in the first place,
Yeah.
which is not right, but it's okay.
I mean, we're all getting old. Everybody's gonna get married soon, and all these news is gonna start dropping. You're getting married. I'm getting married. Somebody's getting married. So
Yeah.
might as well start preparing the dad bods from now only.
Yeah. But I think the dad bod has to happen after you get... It's okay. But we're very progressive and sometimes we take decisions which are not required, but we take it anyway.
Hmm.
So yay, the future of our country is in the great hands. Fingers
In the
crossed.
hands of the dad
Fingers
bods.
crossed. In the hands of the dad bods. Fingers crossed. And of course, the women will like the dad bods because, you have to like let the world know
Yeah.
that it's both men and women running the country.
Yeah.
So,
Mom
yeah.
bods.
Yay! Or-
Mom bods.
but yeah.
Have
So
you
yeah,
visited college? It's been like 4 years. Have you had a
I
chance?
I visited college last around 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong,
Okay.
and I was literally being slapped in the face by a lot of nostalgia, and it
Yeah.
felt so good. It's not even funny. So like you sent me a picture of chai of mangoes.
Mm-hmm.
That was my go-to spot during lunch hours as well.
Yeah, that's why I sent it
Um,
to you. I was like, I'm not gonna
yeah,
be in this nostalgia feeling alone.
yeah. Thanks for that. And I was so happy that I actually met a few people who still work there. and they were there even when I was in the last year of college.
Right.
And I had my usual order. So in college I used to have iced tea.
Yeah.
And I used to have paneer bhurji with parantha.
Okay.
So I went there. I actually just had breakfast when I went there, but just for the sake of nostalgia and because mission that board, I ate again. And I had iced tea and I had the same paneer bhurji again. It felt my teachers, they're still there. They're still very nice.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, but after that they've shifted my campus to a different place altogether.
Right.
Which I'm like not a big fan of, because like a part of the college life was a big walk, that 500-kilometer walk from the gate to the classroom.
The class.
Yeah.
The 9 o'clock running.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. So like I was talking to my friends today, and a lot of them were talking about missing college, and I felt odd because I like meeting them and I like being in college, but I didn't miss college like many people do. And so like I felt like maybe should I be missing college, or is it like I'm happy where I am, I have no regrets, or is it like I should be missing college? Like do you miss college, or are you like happy where you are?
I'd say this is one of those rare situations where you have to be a realist and say the glass is both half full and as well as half empty. Reason why you would say the glass is half empty is because all said and done, college days or the days for which you were a student are definitely one of the best ones in your life. There is no pressure of waking up in the morning and going to work. There aren't many pressures on your head basically.
Man, we still had pressure. Like going to college was like going to work only. We went to Christ. So it is
fair enough. But the thing is, I mean, you still have 20 people going through the same as you are.
Yeah.
So, and the kind of things you do in college or school are, of course, the ones you remember for the rest of your life. So, I definitely miss that.
Do you think like when we look back, I think it's like when we look back at college, we forget all the negative things that happened, and it's the same with me also. Like I forgot any issues with the teachers. Like I never had too many issues with teachers or whatever, but like I've forgotten or put aside any negative experiences with college, and we look back with fondness because it seemed like a simpler time. But I'm very happy as an adult to be contributing to a place and then making money and all these things which I wasn't doing in college.
Fair enough. So I agree. Everyone has those rose goggles on when you think about college, like 100%. But the only like different perspective I bring in over here is, while I'm definitely happy about the fact that I managed to make it through college and I was fortunate enough to land a good job. Post that, at the same time, if you ask me to live through all that chaos again, I do it in a heartbeat. Cause it was literally like living through a Bollywood movie. Except this time you did not know the hero would come out on top or not, but luckily he did. But yeah, it was all the good times, all the bad times, good days, happy days. I'd relive it for sure.
I'm not sure if I would or not. I mean, I am again. So see, I like to take scenarios and then overanalyze. So I was like, if I would relive it, would I change something? And if I change something, then I wouldn't be the person I am today. So like, but anyway, so like, are you in touch with? How many people are you in touch with from college? Like, do you keep in touch with all your closest friends? We get to speak now on a, I guess on a once a month or something we'll talk, which is good. It's better than not talking at all. Like, but are you in touch with other people?
Yes, and I'd say that this is something I learned because ever since I've been a kid, I've been used to moving around once every years. So I actually, to be very honest, I've been luckily some of my good friends from college I'm still in touch with as a result of where I work. Or some of my college friends started working with me. We started working in the same company together, and that's how you stay in touch with a few of them. Apart from that, a lot of people are in Bangalore, so whenever I visit Bangalore, I go meet them. I'm very active on WhatsApp, so I
Yeah.
keep pinging these people. I am in touch with them. Of course, there are days when I miss the fact that I'm not going back home from college and I don't have all these 20 people together with. But yeah, you take what you get, and it's nice to speak to them once in a while.
So I've always been the sort of person, who had a smaller, close-knit group of people. Like I would always have like 3 friends or whatever, and that's everything I need. You've always been the
And I
sort
was
of,
two out of those three friends.
yeah, yes. But
Hashtag that board.
that hashtag that, but you've always been the sort of person who got along with everybody, and
Right.
you surrounded yourself with a lot of people, and you generally have a calm demeanor which sort of attracts people to you. So in that way, we are very different.
Agreed. That is
So like, I was thinking about it because, I mean, we can't say that either approach is wrong. It's okay to be friendly with everyone. It's okay to be selective with your friends as long as, all of you move forward together. But like,
right.
I was thinking about what determines really that whether you're a sociable person or not. So like, from your point of view, what do you think really attracts people to you? What makes you cool, for lack of a better word?
What makes me cool, man? Okay. I can't do that accent really well. That's why I dropped it very fast. That's a very good question. I feel like I need to put a lot of thought into it, but I'd say that us as human beings, all said and done, attract those things to us which we really want. And with that being said, I have always been someone who likes the company of people.
Right.
Because I tend to talk a lot, and there's only so much. You with one particular person. By that I don't mean that the concept is to use people and just to have someone to listen to you, but I just like making conversation in general.
See,
And
that's the mistake I make, where I also like to talk a lot, but I'll say everything to one person, and they get tired and they're like, "Nahi baat karna hai."
yeah, no, so you bore people in like certain quantities. You can't find one person say you're going to be the most boring person, and you can't just bore them more. You have to pick people, bore them equally, let
Right.
them bore you as well. Uh, yeah, and that's like the major reason why I'd say I maintained like a big friend circle, because I speak to a lot of people.
Right.
And I think another reason why I managed to have a big social circle was because generally the first interactions with me will be not be very deep in terms of the kind of conversations we have. I'll be trying to say some I'll be trying to make some funny jokes, even though people might not laugh about it. But I feel that starting off with humor kind of results in the overall situation being
Right.
tense, and that allows people to feel comfortable. If there's one person being a joker in front of you, then they are okay, fine. Like
Yeah,
my guard up in
you
front of this
always
person.
had that easy confidence, sort of like, let's have fun together. I don't care like who you are. We can have fun
Yeah,
together. That sort of thing.
exactly. So yeah, and it's not like everyone's gonna have 100% hit rate with everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you try making conversations with 3 new people in a day, maybe there's one person who likes you as well. With the perspective of making a friendship with you, of course. So I think that's what like allowed me to have a long friend circle, a huge friend circle.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that everyone needs that. There are some people who prefer the company of only a few people. There are some people who don't prefer all that chaos. There are some people who would rather spend more time on themselves, by themselves, totally
Right.
fine as well.
So introverts,
I mean,
basically. Yeah.
sorry?
Introverts.
No, I mean, not necessarily, but see, basically at the end of the day, if you go back to bed happy with the amount of time you spent in those 16 hours you've been awake for,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
In my case, of course, I wanted myself to spend a good chunk of those hours speaking with as many people as possible, which is why I kind of ended up having a lot of friends.
So I've always admired that about you, that you can sort of, nobody really gets angry or not angry. Let's say nobody gets genuinely upset about anything you say, because you have a certain way of saying things. And
Thanks. Appreciate.
So recently I have sort of started to pick this habit up. Like I'm still learning, but
That's nice.
when I went through my I'm still going through it, but when I went through my major depressive phase, I lost a
Right.
lot of my anger that I used to have. Like I used to be very short tempered, you remember, but I
Yes.
lost a lot of that, and I started being more patient with people, listening to them, and then obviously starting the talkback interviews and everything.
Right.
I really started to get that sort of thing that you do, which is be social with everyone, be nice, have a casual conversation. Of course,
Right.
there are moments, there are times when I'll go overboard or I'll get too excited and then I talk their ear off. But most of the time, I'm a much easier person to be around now than I was in college. That's, I think, part of the appeal of why I don't want to go back and relive. I don't think I would have gotten this without going through everything that I've gone through.
First of all, I'm very proud of the fact, very proud about how you've been dealing with depression. So kudos to you for that. And I can certainly, having you for 7 years now, can you believe it? It's been 7 years.
7 years,
Since you were
what the hell?
yes, it's been 7 years. But yeah, I can certainly vouch for the fact that in the last 7 years, I have myself seen a lot of changes in you with regards to, settling down very comfortably with more than a few people and being yourself, which is amazing, I feel. And I'm so glad to know that you found your passion with these talkback interviews and the Toastmasters part of. You're doing a lot of good,
Yeah.
cool things over there. So
Do you
keep it
remember
up. That's
when we were in third year, you, me, and Nav were having a conversation one day, possibly about the future, and I had said that maybe I'll get into HR, and both of you
right.
laughed at me because you're like, you couldn't imagine me being patient enough to be in HR.
Agreed. Yeah.
But
Guilty.
but now I'm actually not HR, but I have found that I really enjoy working with people, collecting stories from people. So
Right.
with everything I'm doing, my work is not very social, but to compensate for that, I have done Toastmasters like you said and talkback interviews and everything. I have learned that I enjoy working with people, and so the next few years of my life are going to push in that direction of finding a way to work with people, help people, get stories from people, share stories, and that sort of thing. And so, I wasn't wrong 3 years ago when I said that I might be good HR.
I'm happy to accept defeat because I'm glad that
Yeah.
you were able to do something which we didn't think at that time we'd be able to,
Yeah.
and it's something which will do you a lot of good in the long run. So good job. Yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah, but isn't it amazing to you, just how powerful and important communication is? Every other skill is a far second to communication. Now we've been working, both of us have been working in the corporate world for 4 years. Everything just depends on how you talk to people and how you get along with people. And then there's a distant second is teamwork and perseverance. But everything is communication. It's
Fair. I mean, I'm sure that when you have a different setting, there could be other skills that could be just as important. But yes, communication definitely is extremely important. And the thing is, not just professionally but personally as well. You were speaking about having a lot of friends and all that. I have personally noticed that I have been able to maintain my friendships with people or maintain my relationships with people uh, better only as a result of me being able to communicate with them as to exactly what I'm feeling.
Right.
So I think communicating is very important. And there's one thing I'd like to share, with both with you and all the people listening as well. How many are there, by the way? Please figure that out later.
I hope a few because I feel really bad that I get these amazing stories from people and then 5 people read it. So I'm
Maybe
hoping.
maybe we should like have an Easter egg somewhere in the conversation and give people an award if they can like find that Easter
Mm.
egg. Okay, but anyways, getting back to what I was saying, I've noticed, and this is a mistake I've made myself, and I'm glad I'm not making that mistake anymore. Whenever we have an issue with someone who's close to us, we talk about them as opposed to with them.
Right.
And that just starts creating a lot of distance between you and the other person. And I think that happens because us as human beings are not good at confronting the people we like or people we're very close to. But with that said, it's better to have one very uncomfortable conversation with someone you really like than having 10 half-assed, not so fruitful conversations with
Yeah.
people who are not involved.
Yeah.
So
Being
I'd say
passive
communicating
aggressive.
and being honest is the key.
Yeah. So like, don't be passive aggressive. I think it's because
Yeah, just
we we
speak
as
your heart out.
we as a people have become so sarcastic. Like, if I hate sarcasm now. I try to be as straight as possible because
Are you serious?
everybody tries to be sarcastic, man. Right? Like,
That's true. That
th-
yeah, 100% agree. I mean, yeah, people do to be sarcastic as much as possible.
and when you do it correctly, it's fine. But like, so many people are just idiots and they don't know how to be sarcastic correctly, and it just sounds really weird, and like it sounds like it looks very obvious, and then you're like, why are you doing this? Just like talk straight to me.
Yeah, that, and again, that also is the same thing. You know, you were trying to convey something, but in an effort to do that, you end up being sarcastic and you end up creating more barriers between you and the other person. So, sarcasm, good for cracking jokes, when your friend does a very silly mistake, but not really the best weapon of choice when actually trying to solve or mend your relationship with someone who's close to you.
Right.
So yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
So the speaking of like, you know, if let's talk about confrontation for a bit. So
Mhm.
um, I had a Toastmaster who I was mentoring,
Mhm.
and for his speech he wrote this political rant. Now we're not supposed to get political in Toastmasters, but he did. He wrote a rant about the state of the country, which is fine.
Okay.
And I was reading through his speech, and I'm like, okay, do you want like I can see that you have a lot of anger towards this particular subject. I told him. I said,
Right.
are you looking for a solution or are you looking to vent? If you're looking to
Right.
vent, then it was just like, oh, this is wrong, we should do this, if we don't do this, this will happen, this is wrong. That was how he framed his speech. I said, if you're looking
Right.
to vent, then this is fine. It gets the
Right.
anger out of you and you can then be a little more productive. But
Agreed.
if you're looking to inspire or persuade people to take action, this is not the way to do it. Because like
Fair enough.
the moment you start blaming somebody, like we all do this wrong or you do this wrong, you're assuming that the person in front of you is wrong and that's how they're going to perceive it. So like if I
Mhm.
tell you, you know, we shouldn't be womanizers, Paritosh, that's an assumption that you are a womanizer. And if you are not a womanizer, you'll take that very personal. You might take that personally. Like, why are you assuming that? So I lose you
Fair
there.
enough.
So I
Fair
told him
enough.
like
Yeah, yeah.
if you're trying to convince the audience or communicate to the audience like that you care about this cause, this is not the way to do it. You need to take a much more mellow tone.
Yeah.
So like I think mellowness is missing in today's society. Like in today's society, we tend to become a little more aggressive slowly. I think a lot of us are tending to aggression,
Agreed.
where like even if with public figures, like you'll see this very vitriolic reaction. They'll get like they get very defensive and then they start attacking each other. You are like this, but what about you? You are like this. Like,
Right.
what do you think about that? Like public figures
So,
becoming very sort of confrontational.
so before I into like the whole public figure thing, there's some theories and some thoughts I'd like to add to the whole point of people venting and all that stuff.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I'd start off by saying that I think this is something which a lot of people lack, and I don't know why do we lack. I mean, I have a theory as to why we do, but I'll get to that in a bit. Um, I feel like whenever we find ourselves in a situation that we are not happy about, our immediate go-to response is venting. Uh, by the time we get to the solving state, we are already pretty tired or we've already lost our audience.
Right.
So, and again, it's something I myself am figuring out on my own. But that's something which thing is, it's tough for you to have your presence of mind when you're extremely angry. So one way out, of course, is to not be as angry to begin with, and like sit yourself down and play the things in your head, figure out what went wrong and all that. So I think that's one thing that is there, and we really need to find a solution to this. And whenever found in a situation that is not really ideal, maybe take a 5 minute break, vent out to yourself or to like one or two people, and then come back to the room with a solution, as opposed to with a long rant, because that will not be helpful. Secondly, I also feel that generally we tend to get offended very easily. And when I say we, I hate to do this, but I feel like Indians generally don't take a lot of offense as people in other countries. And it could be possible because of the fact that in our country, a lot of things are perpetually broken. So there's always frustrations emerging from like everything that is around you.
Yeah.
But I feel like, our situation around us also is not supporting us in trying to find a fix for it. Those are my 2 cents on that. And my advice to anyone listening to this, my advice to myself, my advice to you, my advice to all my friends is that whenever you find yourself in a situation which you're not happy about, of course, you're human, you're expected to vent, so go vent, spend the first 4 or 5 minutes doing that. But once you come back and you want to take the next step, make sure that you're coming up with solutions as opposed to just venting it again and again, because that won't help. Okay, that was pretty much what I wanted to share. I'm so sorry I forgot the actual question you asked me though.
Yeah, man.
You said something on public fuels.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll reframe the question.
Right.
Like you said, Indians take offense. I think the world is starting to take more offense, and I have theories on it. I'll come back to the theories, but like you said, like if you gave advice, if you went for the first 4 or 5 minutes, then come back and fix the situation. I think that's very important, because what happens is we have this Twitter-like reaction where we immediately have a knee-jerk reaction to something,
Exactly.
where we
Well, yeah,
went,
we have a knee-jerk reaction to everything. Correct.
and then ego comes into play, where like you're like, I've already said this, now it's unfixable or whatever, or I don't
Yeah.
want to fix this. So this combo attack basically of why relationships
Exactly.
don't work. So I'll add to your advice. If you are able to extract yourself from a situation that is angering you or potentially causing you discomfort, then do that. Like I'm talking to the people now, the people,
Right. The people.
the millions. But
See the millions, like maybe one day there'll be millions listening to it.
let's hope. But then,
Yeah,
so
fingers crossed.
if you are able to extract yourself from a situation, do it, because your first reaction is always going to be the worst, whether you
Agreed.
express it or not. So if it comes out, it's familiar that you are angry and you went and you scream at somebody and that ruins the relationship. But even if you don't express yourself that way, your first reaction might not be the correct one. You'll feel bad, you'll feel hurt, you'll feel betrayed, and that's just your body reacting. So
Right.
so my advice is always look at your second reaction.
Agreed.
That's something you can easily do. You might not be able to
Yeah.
extract yourself from a situation, but you can easily look at your second reaction. Because your second
Yeah.
reaction is something that you come to after you've thought about it for a bit. You let your
Yeah.
body react, and then you use your mind, you use your brain.
Agreed. But that's when you've rationalized basically in your head
Yeah.
and you've thought of solutions.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So that literally helps you avoid, I would say, 75% of your problems with communication, is just to avoid your
Agreed.
first reaction and focus on your second. But
Yeah,
yeah,
totally fair.
so theories I had about why we are becoming this way. I have this
Hmm.
conspiracy theory, and I'd like you to put on your tinfoil
Oh
hat with
boy.
me for a second.
Conspiracy theory. Crazy. Like
Conspiracy theory.
whenever someone says conspiracy theory, I immediately imagine like an army of people around me with like guns and bombs saying that, okay, fine, we found out the conspiracy, now let's go do something about it.
Hmm.
I know that sounds very silly. I thought it was funny in my head. I don't mind. Maybe there are only 5 people, but don't judge me, please. Okay, anyways, going on.
Yeah. So the offense, taking offense, and sarcasm, and any of these sort of reactions, they
Mm-hmm.
come when you are insecure about something that's being said. So
Hmm.
why I was a reactionary, like angry person when we were in college, is because I was an insecure little bitch.
All right.
Where
Are you
you,
going to beep out words or not?
sorry,
Are you going to beep out all these words or not?
I think I might. I'm not sure. Let's see where that goes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so but I used to be very insecure, and so when somebody said something bad about me, I assumed it's personal, and therefore I would attack back.
Okay.
And my conspiracy is that all of us, the world, our generation is becoming that way because a lot of us have very little self-esteem because we've been brought up by a very toxic generation of people who have told us that we are nothing. Like, when I mention this to you, you'll have that aha moment where, like, have you noticed how nobody knows how to take a compliment nowadays? Like, if you give them a compliment, they'll deflect it.
Um, I've had a slightly different experience. I would say, I mean, I'd say there are people who take compliments well. But yes, I'll agree that there are some people who don't take compliments that well and they kind of deflect it the other way.
So like if you say you look good today and they're like, oh no, it's nothing. Or, if you take a good picture of them, they're like, oh, I look fat. Or because a, I think a majority of us in our generation have been brought up with a very self-deprecating style where we don't
Mm-hmm.
where we don't like ourselves. A lot of us don't like. I know I was struggling with that I hate myself sort of, and so because of that you tend to be insecure and then you react in a certain way. I think that's why Twitter reacts a certain way, is because a lot of us insecure about certain things that are said. And my conspiracy is that this is because the entire generation before us has sort of raised us that way, that strict parenting, you are nothing, you are useless sort of thing, which we avoid now in today's parents, which we try to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
But like, would do you think there's any legs to that?
Mm, it's a very interesting theory for sure. And I'll agree that the whole hashtag "Ji ka ladka"
Hmm.
is a very popular concept in India.
Right.
For those of our viewers who don't know, Sharma ji ka ladka basically means that if you score 90, your parents will be like, Sharma ji ka ladka scored 95 and you won't get the appreciation you deserve.
It's
So,
constant comparison with friends, families, and relatives. That is Sharma ji ka
yeah.
ladka.
So,
Sharma ji being your
yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah, Sharma ji being your neighbor because like Indians have a lot of Sharma ji. But that's only North India though. Anyways, so I'll agree with you on that note that yes, there is a lot of comparison that happens. Um, to your theory around how how getting easily offended stems from a place of insecurity, I would definitely want to give this a thought and think of occasions where I got offended by something someone said and see if that came from a place of insecurity or not. And it's probably something our viewers should be doing as well. Pause this podcast right now, take a 5 minute break, think about all the times you've been offended, and see if that came from a place of insecurity or not. And do let us know if you felt that that's where it came from. It's an
Actually,
interesting theory
let's
for
do
sure.
that. Let's take a 5 minute break. We'll stop
All
recording
right.
for a second and then we'll come back.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And we're back from the break. We've had a few minutes to rest. I don't know if you guys got it. We might have just cut it so that you watch continuously. But we're rested up, Paritosh, and we thought we'll discuss how conversations are different with family. Because with family, I think it becomes a lot more complicated than with friends. So, like,
Yeah.
I'll start you off. Like, how are conversations with family different for you, versus like how you have conversations with friends?
That's a very interesting question. Um, so I feel that probably with your family members, the height of emotions is much more
Mm-hmm.
because you know what's happening inside their life, 100% or to very. And sometimes with your friends, there are certain aspects which don't really know about.
Uh-huh.
So with your family, if your brother or sister or mom and dad are at a very crucial juncture, and they're in a situation which could determine, how the next couple of months will be like.
Yep.
You might want to, save the hard conversations for slightly later and ensure that their motivation it does not go for a toss or their confidence is not affected
Right.
in those really crucial moments. And I think it probably happens because with our family, the degree of empathy is way more because of course you know them that well. You can literally walk in their shoes for miles. And I think because the degree of empathy is that high, you know how to manage your conversations with them, when to let them down easy, when to go to them straight.
Yeah,
And
I think
I'm sure that
it's just a side effect of living with them and therefore spending many more hours, technically, cumulative
exactly.
hours more with them. So you're past the point of haha conversations being your opening, even though like it's always good to keep it there so for freshness. But like you are at a point now where you can be serious with each other.
Yeah.
But
Actually, this. Sorry, go on.
I was thinking that, sorry to interrupt you, I was thinking that, but because of that, so many hours spent together, the threshold for tolerance also becomes like really thin or really low.
Mhm.
Like, there's, like you said, the heightened sense of emotion. I think it becomes we become touchy with our family because uh, so much time
Right.
is spent with them, right?
Right.
But sorry to interrupt, you were saying something before.
No worries. So, this is something that I'd like to actually ask our audience, and I mean, I could be wrong over here as well.
Hmm.
They usually say that when you want someone, you give it to them straight and don't beat around the bush. Uh, so, and I made the statement that maybe with people you're very close to, with people for whom you have a lot of empathy, maybe it makes sense to know when to pick a conversation, know when not to. So I'd like to hear from people what they feel. I certainly do feel that, while I'm a firm believer in the fact that you should never leave people in the dark and give it to them straight,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I feel that if you have a lot of empathy for someone, it's better to know when to have the easy conversations and when to have the difficult ones.
Yeah.
And it even applies to your closest friends, or even your roommates who you spend time, with whom you spend a lot of time. So would definitely love to know what our audience and what our viewers think about it.
Let's see if we get an audience, we'll ask them. It's like if you are someone who's listening, please uh, leave a comment,
Yeah,
telling
please
us
do.
about like how conversations are different between family and friends.
Yeah. Yeah, please do that. And if you guys are ever in Bangalore or Hyderabad, me and Weber would love to take you out for some nice donuts and momos and whatnot.
It's
Because
a little much, but okay. the,
I love
the
I
the
love meeting people and taking them out for meals and stuff. So
hmm.
yeah,
The
if you're in Hyderabad,
salesmanship
hit
was a
me up.
little too high, Paritosh. Dial it back.
Man, I suddenly remember the event we went for.
Which one?
The event for that company.
Right.
You,
The
me, and I
company that
think
shall not be named redacted. We went
yeah.
to a wedding to work as staff.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I was responsible of conducting some game
Right.
and it had something to do with selling something.
Yeah, I
People
think
involved.
like you were like a desi bartender or something like a desi blackjack dealer.
Yeah, it was
I think
something to do with
I
cards. It had,
cards or antiques. I
yeah,
think you had a store of antiques and you had to sell
yeah,
using playing cards or something. Play a game with them, and if they win, they get an antique.
yes, I think it was something like that. And I remember that at one point there were a lot of people around me who, and the only reason why they were interested in that particular setup that I had was because I was speaking in English,
Hmm.
and all the other people speaking in some other language.
Hmm.
So I literally remember this one person saying, "ये English में बात कर रहे हैं, सही होगा, इससे खरीदते," something like that. So, and I was like, that really doesn't make sense, but it helps you. So,
हाँ
okay,
भाई,
come along,
like
bring your friends.
ये हिंदी इंग्लिश में बात कर रही सही होगा.
That was quite funny. Yeah, good old days.
Oh God. I remember we learned juggling. We tried to learn juggling at that event.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not wrong. Pranimia.
Pranay, Pranay was there with us at that time.
Yeah.
I think
For our
5 of us, right? You, me, Pranay, Ronak, and Anshul? No, not Ronak. Somebody else.
Ronak won't have been there. Had Ronak been there, we like the people who were actually getting married won't have had food to eat. So for our viewers who are listening, if you are at all there, Pranay is one of our Pranay was Vaibhav's flatmate
Roommate, yeah.
and roommate, flatmate, and he was crazy about watching anime. So much so that one day he got done with his paper, with his answer paper. He packed up his answer sheet and came back home because he had to watch animes. And then we called him and told him that he'd forgotten it, and he rushed back home. So that's Pranay for you. And
I feel like that's not an accurate representation of who Pranay is. The poor guy. He had that accident where he took his exam paper home like an idiot.
yeah, that was a crazy incident nonetheless.
I know.
And then the next friend we mentioned was Ronak, who was basically like the Akshay Kumar of our friend circle.
Akshay
Shah
Kumar.
does all weird things in all the movies. He used to do that like in our lives.
See, Ronak is Paritosh. Ronak is exactly the same as Paritosh. And anyway, you know what? Let's forget about the viewers for a second. Let's just talk amongst ourselves. If the viewer is there, they'll continue to listen. What were we
Okay.
discussing before this? We were talking about, right, for the family thing.
And
I had a point I wanted to make. I forgot.
oh yeah.
Something about, right, okay. So because we spend a lot of time with our family, we tend to get touchy. That's what I said, right?
Right.
So because both of us have been living away from our families for a while, I know that my relationship with my family has improved a lot since we've been apart. Like my relationship with my father has improved a lot. My relationship with my mother was always great, but we sort of recognize how great it is.
That's great to hear.
And like my relationship with my sister also sort of deepened when she also went off to college and I was here in Bangalore. So like, has that happened for you? Did you notice your relationship with your parents becoming more mature or better?
I would love to answer this question. Thank you so much for asking that.
Hmm.
So I'd say that the overall, how the relationship generally is has changed. I'll tell you how. So with my dad, it was always me listening to what he had to say, and some occasions where I tell him, no, this doesn't make sense, or this is what I want to do. So it was more of a teacher-student kind of a equation. Of course, the love was there and always has been, but it was more of me looking for advice.
Right.
But I feel that I feel now that I've started staying by myself, I have a newfound appreciation for him. Him coming back home late from office and me being like, let's go out or let's play something or let's watch something on the television. And him saying like, give me 5 minutes to relax, give me 10 minutes to like, feel at home and then we can start doing it. So, and at that time, I was a kid. I was doing that. But I have found this newfound appreciation for that because now I realize to come back home, you do need some time to switch off and, change and all that stuff. So I'd say I have a newfound appreciation for him and from him. on the flip side, from my dad's side, now he's recognized the fact that I'm on my own and I'm working. I can see that he has more respect for me professionally than I did earlier. Earlier, he was, of course, concerned as to what I do,
Right.
whether I'll be able to land a good job or not. So now he does speak to me about work, which I'm really grateful about. With regards to my mom, glad to admit that it's remained this. I was very much a mama's boy at home. I am still pretty much the same. I speak to her very often. So that's remained the same. With my sister though is a complete 360 degree. Just like any siblings, we used to have a lot of fights.
Mm-hmm.
We used to fight about the TV remote and fight if possible. There are occasions when if we did not have fights in like 1 6 hours, I'd find something to irritate her with because, that would make my day.
Yeah.
But I think ever since I've shifted out from home, it's become so much sweeter and so much better. There's so much love, which is actually being expressed right now because you only realize the importance of that sibling once you start staying away from them.
Yeah.
You realize that even though you had a lot of fights with them, they're still your brother or sister.
Yeah. So I think with
Changed
you,
massively.
with you, I think it's been more of a thing that you matured as a person, as like going through college and going through early adulthood and everything. You matured as a person, and that is what really impacted your relationship with your father both ways. In my
Right.
case, I guess it's the same. Like my relationship with my father improved because I matured as a person, but also because I wasn't there, he realized what was missing suddenly in the house. And like I've noticed this now because like both me and my sister are not there, my parents are living alone. When I go back, my mom is generally cheerier just because I bring a certain level of jokiness and
Excitement.
not excitement, but just like this jovial atmosphere. So like I joke a lot when I'm at home, and my mom laughs at those jokes. Like they're specifically designed to make her laugh. So
Right.
she feels much better. And so I guess both my parents noticed that going away when I left. And so
Right.
they learned to appreciate what I was contributing to the family. Whereas in your
And that's
situation, I think
beautiful.
it's more to do with like you matured as a person, so your father found a respect for you, and therefore like now he consults you with work and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the respect was always there, but, it was like respect with a little bit of caution.
Yeah,
He didn't want me to fly in the air by giving me a compliment, but now he and then be confident about it that it will not result in me flying and like I'll come back to us at some point.
yeah,
So yeah, it's and I mean I don't know if this is something you know about me or not, but all my friends which are here in Hyderabad,
hmm
there are a few who say they and they don't agree with the concept of having one, and I've become like an enforcer of having. A lot of people will disagree. That's totally their call. I
Wait,
feel a family is a
sorry,
very
sorry, sorry.
beautiful thing.
So you cut out on a key moment there. What is this what is it your friend said that they don't believe in having something?
So yeah, so that maybe a family is something we form as a consequence of the social norms that are there.
Right.
And while maybe on from a logic might make sense,
Hmm.
I'd say that having a family is a beautiful thing, and you should always have a family.
Right. The idea
Yeah,
of the family is that, these are people who are not going to betray you because all your interests match up perfectly. I guess that's the idea.
right.
Uh, I mean,
Interests always don't match up, but it's a good mixture. It's a good bhujia.
they're supposed to match up. Like that's the idea that your
Okay,
father wants, your parents want something for you, and then the ideal situation would be that you want the same thing for yourself.
fair enough.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, like as society has evolved, it's not very. I guess no, the family as a unit is still like very important. And this is like too philosophical for this podcast. Let's like.
Yeah, I agree. It's something we should be having later on, but yeah,
Hmm.
we had it anyway. So for the few viewers listening, thank you so much for sticking by us.
Yes.
God bless you. Right.
Man, so we are sort of closing in on the hour. Let's sort of close down. Any last topics? Who are you in touch with? We mentioned Pranay and Ronak. Anybody else? Like in the context of what we were talking about conflict. Who do you think? Who do you remember who handled conflict the best besides you? Like who you could never have a fight with because that person wasn't like the fighting type.
Oh, I think one person, and I'm going to strictly speak about my friends over here. One person who I learned a lot from, and I think who is really good at this is one of my friends called Vijay.
Yeah. I know Vijay, man.
I just
we are friends.
Yeah,
like.
I mean for our viewers.
Like I said, don't talk to our viewers. Talk to me.
Oh my God, one conversation. So I think that she's one girl who was born with a lot of maturity, and I don't think of anyone from whom I've learned a lot with regards to handling confrontations and just being mature in general. I think she knows she knows when is the right time to speak to a certain person about something. She knows what language to use, knows how to convey what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
And she knows how to ensure that the thought doesn't escape the person's head once you discuss it with them.
Yes, I have reconnected. Yeah, I have reconnected with Vijay this year, and yeah, she does bring a sort of like I wouldn't say that you can't have a fight with her. You can, but like you have to be really trying hard to have a fight with her because she's able to rationalize it out and in
the simplest of words.
Yeah, she's not like you where you like joke around and diffuse the situation, but she'll literally end it very quickly. So this is what you're angry about, and this is the solution. Let's talk. Not exactly in those words, but that quickly. So it's very difficult to have a fight with her. She's an interesting case study for this sort of thing. I think how she does it is basically having the information ready. Is like she's very she's very quick with
people's person.
Yeah,
she's a hardcore people's person.
That's why she went into HR.
Yeah. All right. I think it's been a good conversation, Vaibhav. Had so much fun with the podcast. Maybe, we could ask our viewers what they would like to hear about next from you. And if they want me back, then they better pay for your phone bill so you can call me again.
Unlimited phone plan. Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. Good stuff.
Okay, so wait, we'll ask our viewers a question. What do you think about, I'll ask you two questions. What do you think about, why do you think conflict arises between you and your friends or you and your family? Like, what is the main reason for conflict and how do you resolve it? And the second question is, if you like this conversation, what else would you like me and Paritosh to stroke our beards and pontificate about? We can shoot the breeze and sort of just discuss a few aspects of it and bring it out. Maybe we'll take questions from you. So if you have something that you would like us to talk about in a future podcast, please do leave a comment below. Anyway,
if you would like Paritosh to be back, then please bring Paritosh back.
Okay. But yeah, man, it's been fun. We've been talking for about an hour. It's very nice.
Crazy. It was nice talking to you, man.
Yeah. Sure. I'll see you then soon.
Bye.